Baseball is back. Welcome to William Chrisman High School in beautiful Ross Family Field as the Bears get set to host Van Horn. Oh, and welcome to William Chrisman alongside former Royal Les Norman. I'm Lee Fleisig. Les, anybody who is involved in high school sports knows the disappointment of losing the spring season, but the good news is a lot of these players get a chance really for a second go at their spring season with a little doubleheader today.
Well, you look forward to your senior year of high school as an athlete for many reasons, and when you're a baseball player, it's just the entire season. Think back, if you did anything your senior year, you want to go back to those times when the memories click. This is a memory that was taken away from a global pandemic of all things that you'd never see in your generation, and yet here we are today with a new field and being able to play baseball again for these seniors.
You mentioned the seniors, and especially this will be their first chance to step on this field in a game situation. You knew this field pretty well with a lot of practice time. It did not always look like this, Les. This is absolutely gorgeous.
Right. A couple of years ago, one of our teams, along with one of the assistant coaches, Jake Cates, who his son plays on Chrisman's team as a freshman, it was about 3 inches of dust. So if you walked by, it was a bunch of baseball players and coaches without feet because it was all dust there. And now look, this beautiful stadium right here, the beautiful turf surface is just amazing to be able to play on.
Very thankful for today because with all the rain, I don't think we'd be playing on that old field today. We're back with baseball. William Chrisman playing host to Van Horn. Coming your way next on Spectrum Sports. Hy-Vee, proud to sponsor Greater Kansas City High School Athletics. So glad to be at William Chrisman High School this afternoon as the Bears take on Van Horn. Leading things off for the Falcons will be Cooper Sumter. Fleisig, Les Norman with you. Trent Dilmont, the home plate umpire, says play ball, and we're underway. First pitch of the spring season is grounded to third. Matthew Miller with a long throw. Safe. Sumter can move down that first base line, Les, and nice hustle play to get the leadoff hitter on.
Right, he's one of their best athletes, and he's very fast. And it's always that, even though this is your home field, you haven't played in a while, and then it's on turf, it's a new surface, and so you get the jitters out just a little bit. But trust me, Matt Miller is a good third baseman. He's played for me in the past, and he's done a great job over there, so it's good to get that first one out of the way.
Strike there from Nathan Potts. Tell me a little bit about our pitcher, Nathan Potts.
Well, he's one of their workhorse guys. He's a senior, and Nathan has good breaking stuff. He enjoys control.
Grounded up the middle. Kona Hudson with the play at first. Sumter was on his way to second, so he's safe at second.
Yeah, got a good running start there. Was moving, maybe a hit and run call, or just possibly moving, and the hitter went on. But Nathan Potts is just one of those guys that likes to work in and out, doesn't throw super hard, but has good command. Hasn't thrown that curveball quite yet, but will.
Foul territory and out of play for Matt Davis, the senior first baseman.
Looks a lot like Nathan Potts resembles Jake Junis in the face a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, Jake Junis is a stud, not just because he's a big leaguer, but he's an Illinois guy.
That one hit into left center field. That's going to be extra bases, it looks like, or bring the runner home at least. Sumter comes around third, and he'll score. And the Falcons are on the board first. Nice RBI single from Matt Davis.
It's a good piece of hitting. He did a good job staying inside the ball and hitting it right where it was pitched. A little bit inner half pitch, a little bit of an off-speed pitch, but left it up just a little bit and went right into left center. And Cooper Sumter can run. He's a fast guy. Tough to throw him out anywhere on the base path.
So that'll bring up Steven Campos. Strike called. Campos, a sophomore third baseman. Oh, it fouled back and out of play. 0-2. Les Van Horn did get some games in before the season was canceled. They went 2-1 in their jamboree, and of course, everything changed. They got back to work June 3rd. And they got the go-ahead that sports could continue. Speed pitch is just outside. 1-2. This is the first real game action for the Chrisman Bears. Potts delivers to the backstop, and that will send Matt Davis to second base.
Sometimes with an off-speed pitch and a runner on base, you tend to rush just a little bit. He might have rushed that pitch just a little bit, stayed open with his front side. Tough to get in front of those sometimes, especially on this turf. That ball's going to take jumps that they're not used to, being the first time they're playing on this field.
Campos stays alive, fouling it back. Still 2-2.
Leaf, no turf fields when you were growing up, huh?
You know, that was a thing that we saw on TV once. I think you mentioned the Astrodome. I think was kind of the old Royal Stadium, now Kauffman Stadium. Obviously had artificial turf, but that was just a thing you dreamed about. This is luxury.
An artificial turf this is different than the old artificial turf.
This is not the old rug that you put down over concrete. This has a nice feel to it.
Nice feel, very soft and springy. Has those little bits of. Some of these turf fields now have the bits of the rubber tire in them.
Swing and a miss. Nice pitch there from Nathan Potts.
It's another good off-speed pitch by Potts, keeping the ball down. It almost looks like a slow split finger or something, almost like a knuckleball. You can see a lot of the seams of that, but again, starting it way up and then dropping it out of the zone. That's a tough pitch for a high school hitter to lay off of.
This is Andrew Murphy. He is really a youngster. Just 13 years old. He'll be an incoming freshman, but a chance coach is using this time to really help develop guys, and Andrew Murphy is one of those guys.
Right. He was a late minute add, a lineup change for Coach Colster. And it can be a big, even though just a freshman, it's just high school, but this can be a big audition. You know, it's a season starting back up, and you're a freshman, you want to impress your teammates, but especially your coach, because that's playing time as it goes on, and coach didn't have that faith in him. He wouldn't have put him in the lineup.
1-1 pitch. Driven hard to left field. The youngster comes through. Solid base hit for Andrew Murphy in his debut.
Well, there's nothing better as a freshman than coming in and getting your first AB, and you can see from Potts that pitch is up in the zone just a little bit, and that's a tough place to be because even a slower bat can get that, and he's not a fireballer per se. He's more of your off-speed, hit your spots kind of guy. So, but when the pitch is up there, your job is to do something with it, and Andrew Murphy did just that.
All right, let me tap into your coaching knowledge here. You've got first and third with 2 outs. What's your base running strategy here, Coach?
Oh, I'm sending him. Even as a freshman, you want to send him.
That one gets by, and he'll get second base. Here comes the runner from third. The throw not in time. Matt Davis scores. The Falcons add to their lead.
Yeah, in that situation with a guy that's thrown a little bit slower, didn't have a lot of velocity first and third, you're going to go ahead and send him. But then also in that situation, we talked about taking your time. He comes open just that little bit, and it's hard to control that. That is a catchable ball, but still it gets by him, and a little bit late covering home plate as well. So it's a quick lead for Van Horn.
Hunter Bass out the plate, the left fielder. Swings and misses, it's 1-1. Unless you can play all the inter-squad scrimmages you like, but there's just something different about game speed, isn't there?
There is. Even if you put an L screen out and have your pitchers get work to live hitters, it's just a whole different situation.
Good pitch from Nathan Potts. It's 1-2.
Because I know that even in the big leagues, we tried to do that when it would rain and we would put him in the cage. But who was the first guy that I had to face in a cage during a rainstorm outside in a covered tunnel? Mike McDougal.
Oh, okay.
102 with sink.
One-two pitch. Taken into left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Around third comes Murphy. And it's 3-0 Falcons.
Well, it's another good piece of hitting by Van Horn. These Van Horn hitters, the pitches from Nathan Potts are just up in the zone just a little bit. Again, didn't get this one down. It's off speed. You can see it comes up, and it's outside, but it's up enough for the hitter to get something, even with 2 strikes on it, and just bloop it into left center field, but hey, a hit's a hit. And so, again, Van Horn jumping out to an early lead.
That brings up Connor Dawson, the sophomore catcher. Ball to the backstop, and Bass will head to second base.
Best thing in the situation right now, you have 2 outs. Just try to work the ball down, get the jitters out of there, get out of this first inning. You know, you have a good offensive team on your side, so they're definitely gonna score some runs. So just try to relax a little bit, focus on the hitter.
So Bass will now head to third base.
What a catcher's going to talk to his pitcher about now, as you can see, when you're missing, it's not down, it's not in, it's away, away, away. And so the catcher's trying to do a good job of picking the ball and putting it in there. But when you're consistently out there, there's something with that front side that's opening up that's causing your release point to get too far out in front of your body. And so got to make sure as you land that front shoulder like a bow and arrow, lining up your target, you got to be able to land, which is that brief moment of having good alignment.
2-0 pitch. Good play from Kona Hudson at shortstop. He makes the grab to end the inning, but the Falcons of Van Horn put 3 on the board. 3-0 as the Bears come to bat. Here in the bottom of the first on Spectrum Sports. Big day here at William Chrisman as they bring the ribbon on the Ross family field. Official opening of this beautiful facility. Brand new infield, and Les, I think it's safe to say with the rain that we got at my house anyway, we would not be playing baseball if this was not an artificial turf infield.
Right. I was just thinking the other day with getting my pool at home opened up, I was going to have to fill it, but I think I'm going to be okay right now. The grass is a little mushy, but at least there's some swimming going on.
So Joe Johnson has been staked to a 3-0 lead as he takes the mound here for the Falcons.
Joe Johnson has a great story here. He's one paired with the other senior first baseman, Matt Davis. Between the two of them, they have played almost 200 baseball games together over time. You'll see Johnson, 78 to 81, has also another good curveball. He's one of their senior leaders. He's considered by Coach Colster a workhorse of this Van Horn staff.
Great coaching staffs on both sides. You know, the Van Horn guys really proud that they've been together 8+ years as a staff, and boy, that consistency sure has to help, I would think, a program, doesn't it?
Well, it makes a huge difference because you get to a point after a couple of years, you can start to see what guys need what areas. You get your outfielders, infielders, pitchers, catchers, and it just gets to the point where you can start to trust your other coaches to do what they need to do to get your team prepared.
First pitch to Billy Ross is down low, 1-0. Ross, the senior second baseman. Inside, got a piece of him, and he'll be on first base.
Well, after giving up three runs, the first thing you need right there is not just to calm down, but a momentum change. And then when your leadoff hitter gets hit by a pitch on the second one, and he's your speedy guy, arguably your best athlete's already on base, and with a good hitter in senior Matt Miller up to bat right now, that's how you switch the script, flip it really quickly.
All right, Johnson now out of the stretch, throws over to first. Inside, 1-0.
Hitter here, Matt Miller, played for me on my son's summer team for a couple years. Third baseman, can also pitch a little bit, play some outfield a little bit, got a really strong arm, but you know, for a taller, big guy, this guy's got a mean bat. He's got good power, and he can absolutely fly.
Strike called, 1-1.
One of those guys, too, that you dream of as a coach. Just, I'll do anything. Just tell me what to do, put me in. How can I help? On his way to Graceland University after the shortened season here.
Yeah, players scattered all over the area. It's got to be special to see them move through high school and So then we get a chance at their senior year. Pitch up high, throw to second base is in time, but safe. Stolen base for Billy Ross.
Well, he got a good jump, but it was also a good call on a pitch out. It was an excellent throw, right in the money there, but just a little bit quick of a tag. It might have knocked the ball out of his glove just a little bit. You can see it's a good jump. Everybody did everything right all the way around, except just couldn't quite hang on to the ball. And it's a great slide by Ross to the outside.
So Ross now at second base. Nobody out. Breaking ball down low, 3-1.
Another good thing about Miller, too, is he always had a good eye when he played for me. I always hit him fourth, because if a guy was throwing 90, he had a bat speed of 90. If a guy was throwing 60, he had a bat speed of 60. He always adjusted well.
Now an outside, and now the Bears have 2 on. Andrew Campos, the sophomore catcher, steps in now with 2 aboard.
Interesting to see in the first inning what Chrisman head coach Miles Shelton is going to do. He's with the YBC club. Excellent coach, a lot of experience. Coaches a lot of guys in the summer teams as well.
Just trying to keep Ross close.
The interesting thing, too, I was saying that Matt Miller is heading to Graceland. That's also where head coach Miles Shelton is. He's an alumni there.
Nice pitch. 0-1. Throw back. Ross wasn't going.
Maybe a scouting report that Ross likes to steal third.
We got some wheels going to second.
Yeah.
Now one driven into right center field. And that's going to be trouble. Here comes Ross. Miller's right behind him. They're going to send the runner. It's a 2 RBI double for Andrew Campos.
Well, you're going to see here in just a second, Andrew Campos does an excellent job of hitting right there. That was up in the zone, but stayed inside. If he'd have pulled that, that could have very easily been a ground ball to short or a fly ball to left field, but instead, he kept his hands inside and just went with the pitch. A beautiful job of hitting and scoring 2 on a first inning RBI double. That's how you answer 3 runs down in the first inning.
So Alex Johnson on to run for the catcher at second base now. Nobody out. I call another good pitch from Joe Johnson.
Well, Leaf, we've recorded 3 outs in the first inning where both teams have been up. We already have 5 runs. I think it could be a busy day.
This is Ralph Covington, sophomore right fielder. Outside. Great athlete. Started as a freshman on the football team. A defensive end, linebacker type. I said, what do you like better, football, baseball? Said, they're different. That's a good answer.
It's a great answer. Or you could have said they're different, or which one do you like better? Yes. And look at his body type. Wow. I mean, he's a big guy.
He looks like a defensive end linebacker, doesn't he?
Right.
Lefty gets out of the way. And to third base goes Alex Johnson.
So Alex Johnson over there on this pitch, you know, you're taught this is excellent base running. You have to be heads up. It's a good coaching point, and it's good base running as well, because as soon as that ball went down into the turf, he had taken off. He didn't wait to see how far it trickled away. Most times, if you're a heads up base runner and you're aggressive like that, you're going to be safe, whether you're taking second or third base. Outstanding base running there.
It's a good secondary lead, too, right? You have
Always
to be off that base a little bit.
Always a good secondary lead.
2-1 pitch. Right on the outside corner. Nice throw from Joe Johnson, 2-2. Running to third, nobody out. Got a piece of it to stay alive.
Great pitch by Johnson. Also, Ralph Covington, good job just to foul that off. That was a nasty breaker with 2 strikes. This is all situational hitting right now. Infield's playing back, runner on third, less than 2 outs. You're just trying to think about getting the run in. You're not thinking about getting a hit.
Foul it away. Covington with a good job of staying alive.
Got some Ken Griffey Jr. lower half right there.
2-2 pitch. Hard grounder to third. He gets the job done. Throw across the diamond in time. Good scoop there from Matthew Davis.
Good situational hitting here again by Covington. A couple curveballs that had come in, and he was just fighting them off. Again, this is an excellent outside pitch. He just fought off and went with it. Didn't try to do too much. Took the third baseman away from his play, so he couldn't go home with it. An RBI, and ties it up just like that.
3-3 now for Joseph Cole, the freshman DH. Ball outside as a little mist begins to fall. Inside, just got out of the way.
Thought that might have hit him a little bit. Thought I heard a little sound, but now that I'm an old man now, I guess my ears are failing me.
Joseph Cole, I think, was to hit. He didn't sell it very hard, did he?
I would have been the same way.
Coach, you waited a long time for this at bat. That one inside. He ends up on first base either way.
All right, Leaf, so now here's a question for you.
Okay.
First inning, 4 outs have been made. It's 3-3, 6 runs already. And the rosters are a little bit of a shakeup. Guys haven't pitched in a while. Got to really have a deep bullpen today because there's going to be a high number of pitches thrown if this pace keeps up.
Doubleheader for William Chrisman.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't find a lot of freshmen this big as you do here in Trey Cates. Again, his dad is a teacher here at Chrisman and assistant baseball coach, head basketball coach. Been one of my, when he played for me, one of my best pitchers, best hitters. This kid's already got 400 plus power in his bat.
Fouls it away, 1-1.
And just an incredible family, too. Mom, Ashley, Grandma and Grandpa are sitting right back here. Mom's a teacher, was an athlete as well. Jake was a former professional basketball player, and he is all about leadership and changing the culture and raising, not athletes, but young men and women to be confident, leaders, strong, focus on education.
Swing and a miss. Some heat from Joe Johnson. 1-2. One down here in the bottom of the first. A lot of action already here at William Chrisman. 1-2 pitch. Popped up out of play.
As good of an athlete as Trey has been playing for me over the years, he's just that much better of a young man.
Still battling 1-2. Up high, 2-2.
Another good battle.
Up high, that count is full now, 3-2. Seeing some good hitting from both sides already. Good discipline.
Putting it in play.
High to center field. Going to be a little bit of trouble. That's going to drop. It'll fall in there for a base hit for Trey Cates. And while this infield is perfectly dry, that outfield is a little bit wet.
It's a little bit different. I think they got a little more than an inch of rain out there, and there's a little bit of a slope toward the woods out there into right center, but level the rest of the way. It's got to be soggy. Now with this mist falling, it's only going to be worse as this goes on.
Frankie Gervey steps in. Senior left fielder fouls it away.
Oh, that does look like a camera.
Swings at a high one, 0-2.
Frankie Gervey, another one of those seniors that you love to be able to play this game today, as he heads out of his senior year, getting to play on this great field.
Down low, 1-2.
Frankie Gervey, if the weather holds, he's going to be pitcher for game 2.
Ducks out of the way with 2-2. Finds the outside corner, Joe Johnson with a called third strike. They're 2 down now. Good pitch from Johnson.
Painted the outside corner with a firm fastball right there.
Now here's Nathan Campos. Sophomore playing center field. Grounder foul. Ball wet. Joe Johnson doing a good job of battling back here in the first inning.
Solid breaking ball right there by Joe Johnson. That's the one that he's needed to this point. Starts in the middle and drops right down late.
0-2 pitch. Just inside. 1-2.
1-2.
Nice pitch from Joe Johnson. Called third strike to get him out of the inning. But the Bears score 3 to answer. We're into the top of the second. We're tied up 3-3 here at William Chrisman on Spectrum Sports. Well, the Van Horn Falcons saw their 3-0 lead disappear in the bottom of the first. They'll try to add to it here in the top of the second. Lee Fleisig, Les Norman with you from William Chrisman High School. Beautiful Ross Family Field.
Here we go.
You know, the scoreboard says that Chrisman only got 1 hit, but they had a double in there. Cates had a high towering ball that dropped in for a single.
Runners on base and taking advantage, right? That's what it's all about. As Jeter Vargas will lead things off here in the second. Freshman DH.
That's Leaf. I've got some trivia for you. Yesterday was a former major leaguer's 46th birthday.
Okay.
And it's not a vague you will know who it is.
Going down low, 1-1.
I'll give you a few more pitches to figure it out.
Okay. I might need a little more help. Is he sitting somewhere nearby me?
No, he's not. He's not in attendance.
Okay.
If he was, nobody would be watching the game.
All right.
That popular.
46.
He's now an owner.
With Jeter Vargas up, maybe is that my clue? 46 years old for Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, 46 years old. Now, I got this from my 15-year-old son, who is my steel trap, so I'm going to say it's more accurate than if I were to say it. But I believe it was yesterday Derek Jeter turned 46.
1-2 pitch. 2-2 to this Jeter.
The interesting thing is that when Jeter came to the big leagues, he was probably only a year or two older than the oldest person playing on this field.
Right. You'll have to help me with the history, but as I remember, Jeter could have gone to Michigan as a baseball player, and one of the scouts said there was some concern that he would go to play college baseball, and the scout said he's not going to Ann Arbor, he's going to Cooperstown. Swing and a miss, strikeout for Nathan Potts.
That definitely sounds about right. Nathan Potts does a good job on the off-speed pitch, kept the ball down right there, showing it eye level and then just dropping it right down there. As a hitter, when you fall victim to that, you call it not fair. As a defender or a pitcher on that team, you'd call it nasty.
One down now to Kobe Messick, playing center field for Van Horn. Outside from Potts. Outside 2-0. Potts finds the strike zone with that one, 2-1.
You're doing a much better job this inning of getting that front side in, making an adjustment, which leads you to believe someone in that dugout with all that baseball knowledge over there made it a point like, hey, stay closed, focus on your zone, let the ball do its own work.
Nice pitch on the outside corner, 2-2.
It's like he's found it, and when you struggle early, make an adjustment, you start to see success. Along with that comes greater and greater confidence, so you tend to dig in a little bit more and pitch with a whole different mindset.
Can't get him to bite. It's 3-2.
Good idea, though. Come with off speed, then work outside, then try to come hard back in. So you can tell his mindset's along the lines of where it should be.
Up high. Messick works a walk. Runner on with one down. Now we're back to the top of the order. Cooper Sumter.
Leadoff guy here, too. Got good wheels. Now turf. So it's not going to roll foul based on the plane, because it's got to be a flat surface and the ball's going to be wet. So it'll be interesting to see if he drops down a bunt here.
He's swinging away. He takes it into left center field. On his way to third is Messick. And he's turning for home. He'll make it. An RBI double for Cooper Sumter.
Well, so much for the bunt. Excellent job of hitting for Cooper Sumter. Shoots it right in the gap. Again, that's a ball that was up in the zone. Stayed back extremely well. Did a great job. Looked like there was a little bit of confusion on who was going to take that in the outfield. And they got tangled up just a little bit, which allowed Kobe Messick to score unattested from first base.
All right, so here's Joe Johnson. Grounded out to short his first time up. Runner in scoring position for him here. Nice pitch from Nathan Potts.
It's a cool thing about Joey Johnson. We were talking on that call from Coach Jay Colster, was mentioning that Joey Johnson and Matt Davis, they're prime examples of what leaders should be, was the quote.
Oh, it's hit high to left field. Trouble for Gervey. All the way back and against the wall. Here comes Sumter. And Johnson helps his own cause with a double. Back-to-back doubles.
That's right, back-to-back RBI doubles. And you can see in the outfield, too, see left fielder Frankie Gervey out there slipping and falling. It's a tough outfield, and to be able to get it, it might not have changed anything much, but as he's going back, it's all grass, not much of a warning track, but you try to stop there. Frankie Gervey just losing his footing, trying to get in the best he can, but back-to-back RBI doubles puts Van Horn right back in the driver's seat.
Johnson able to dive back safely into second base. One down, two on the board here in the second inning after Van Horn scored 3 in the first. Here's Matt Davis, RBI single in the first. piece of it fouled away or into the catcher's glove, so 1-1. Allen's taken into center field. Back goes Campos. He's able to make the catch. Tag from Johnson, and he's into third base.
Stay on it. He's got it. Stay on it.
It's a good job by the center fielder for sure. Andrew Campos does a good job getting around that ball, and when the field's this wet, you got to take a little bit higher steps. He does a good job getting around it, sets himself up a little bit high of a throw. Of course, you want to get that down a little bit lower and let the turf go, but a strong arm getting all the way there on the fly to make it a lot closer than it probably should have been.
There's Stephen Campos, struck out in the first. Running our third, 2 down. Too high from Nathan Potts, 1-0. Bit off speed, swing and miss. Throw down to third. Johnson is back. Popped up, little drizzle in the air. Trey Cates camps underneath it, makes the squeeze, and the inning is over. But Van Horn, with back-to-back RBI doubles, puts 2 on the board. 5-3 Falcons as we head to the bottom of the second. You like action, we've got action. 8 runs here in an inning and a half as Chrisman comes to bat here in the bottom of the second. Lee Fleisig, Les Norman with you.
You want offense? We got offense.
Coach would love to see that, don't you? See the guys hitting. I mean, we've seen some great hitting, some disciplined hitting, good base running. But really, call it the first game of the year. It is for William Chrisman, just the 4th for Van Horn before their season was canceled.
It's a great opportunity to get out, and you get disheartened but rightly so. I mean, when you have a pandemic and people are getting so sick with the COVID-19 and everything is shut down, but to be able to come back in the same season, at least near the end, just to play a game and honor your seniors, you can't put enough words in how much it must mean to these seniors and their families.
I think it meant a lot to the coaches too, to be able to get on the field with their teams and really put a cap on the season. And obviously it's tough for the seniors, but anyone who plays spring sports knows, the build up to it and the anticipation, and then to have it canceled was, I'm sure, really tough for everybody. First pitch from Joe Johnson's down low.
It breaks your heart for your kids because you invest. I mean, we know high school coaches have to do it because they're passionate about the game and they're passionate about instructing and teaching and coaching kids, because it's not a multi-million-dollar contract you're signing as a teacher and a high school coach. So you're invested, and it breaks your heart when their hearts are broken and something gets taken away.
Nice breaking pitch there from Joe Johnson, 1-1. Facing Kona Hudson. Made a nice play at shortstop for the Bears. Still a light mist falling here at William Chrisman after more than an inch of rain in most areas overnight. 2-1 pitch. Pounded into the turf. Murphy comes across, hard throw, in time. Nice play from Andrew Murphy.
Well, that sure was, Lee. That was an excellent play, because as soon as he hit that, you knew it was going to be trouble. Kona Hudson runs pretty well, but that ball's going to be wet every bounce it takes. Did a good job catching the short hop, and in one motion, coming across, bang, bang play at first, but the right call got him by a half a step.
Good Good call there from Terry Hassenflow. I guess that's why you put a 13-year-old in the lineup with an eye towards next year. He'll be an incoming freshman. That'll make a coach smile, probably, won't it?
No, it sure will. And you're not expecting him to go 4 for 4, but you want to see him just to be able to compete and have confidence.
Allen's driven into right center field. Around first goes Billy Ross into second base. He's on base for the second time.
We've definitely seen by these high school kids who haven't been playing, that's another great piece of hitting. Billy Ross staying inside the pitch. You can see this pitch, a little bit off speed, a little bit up, but outside, and takes it. Didn't try to pull it and end up grounding out, but stays with it and gets a double into a wet outfield that's hard to get good footing. So he was going 2 all the way. He was even thinking maybe about 3 for just a second there.
A little drier outfield than he might have been there.
Right. That might have rolled all the way to the fence.
That stopped like a Les Norman wedge in the outfield.
Wrong sport for me, my friend.
Matthew Miller steps in. Ball might have been a little slick for Joe Johnson as it goes to the backstop, and Billy Ross goes to third.
That's going to factor in, too. Ball gets on the turf. Ball gets hit to the outfield. Even just tossing it with this miss falling from the catcher, the umpire to the pitcher, it's going to be wet, and so you got to do everything that you can. Your pants are out there getting wet, too, so it's going to be tough to keep your fingers dry.
So runner at third with 1 down for Matthew Miller. Reached on a walk in the first inning, scored a run. Inside from Johnson, 2-0.
Hey, gotta be good, huh? Ready to hit.
Just inside 3-0.
The neat thing to see about Matthew Miller, I mentioned last inning when he was up and played for me for a few summers, and just great teammate, great kid, talented athlete. Dad Jason, just always one of those guys coming early to the game, whether we're on the road at home, and just cheering for his kid. His little brothers are always out there watching him play. Just a great family, baseball family.
Matthew Miller draws a walk, his second of the game. Now it's first and third with 1 down for Andrew Campos. Campos with a big 2 RBI double in the first inning.
Hey, ready to hit. Let's go.
Runner goes. Throw goes back to the pitcher. Matthew Miller was full speed into second base, and you can take a little practice sliding on this turf. It gives you a little extra glide, doesn't it?
Well, I don't have anything in my lineup to say he stole left field, because you're going to go. He stole shortstop, deep shortstop right there. Yes, not only is turf when it's dry tough and makes you understand you have to slide short, but another thing is that you have to make sure when it's wet that you get there as well.
Matthew Miller with a great reaction there, like, whoa. Tried to put the brakes on. Timeout now for Van Horn as they want to talk to pitcher Joe Johnson. Sun's trying to peek out through the clouds, but still a mist falling here. It's making the ball slick. And plus, is there an adjustment for pitchers too, pitching off a turf mound as compared to what they may see with dirt or a half turf mound that you may see in the summer leagues?
No, there is a little bit, because you don't want to wear tennis shoes on this, because it can slip all. You can slip all over the place doing that, and sometimes some turf you can, but probably doesn't look like this one. You can wear metal spikes. You have to have those plastic cleated shoes that they work like spikes, but they're just not the same. They don't dig as much, and even those can be slippery on a day that's new turf and it's been misting a little bit.
All the way from Andrew Campos. 1-1, as we mentioned. Campos with a nice hit in the first inning, a 2 RBI double to right center field.
And if there's a little bit of slickness to it, when you're confident like it's dirt or when you have steel spikes, you can land. You can really stride out and land and get against that front side. You're not even thinking about it, which provides you some power against your front side to drive off the backside. But here, if it's slick, you got to land just a little bit, and it puts a lot more pressure on your arm.
Going into the turf.
Got to get back down.
Throw goes to third in time. Yes. Nice play from Connor Dawson to block that one and then get the throw to third. Looked like Miller slipped, getting back to third base.
was good heads up, but again, he slips right there, wearing some tennis shoes and turf. Looked like that's a tough call out of position. He might have been safe, but again, Leaf, you know, we've got the replay right here. Looks like he got his hand in there, but again, the throw may have beat him, and it's a tough for an umpire there because he's got to be at second and third, getting two different places. So, but regardless, that's a heads-up play by catcher Connor Dawson, showing off his arm.
Nice throw from Dawson and a nice breaking pitch from there from Joe Johnson. 2-2 now to the number 3 hitter, Andrew Campos.
And like you said, Leaf, the difference is that little bit of slip right there made it a little bit closer than it probably should have been, which puts it in a position where the umpire has to make a tough call.
Nice block there from Connor Dawson to keep the runner at second. It's 3-2. Line down the first base line, a foul. Just by a foot. Campos knows how close he was to his second double.
By maybe a mosquito's foot? That was awful close down there. Wow. Coach Cates over there, first base, bouncing out of there.
Good,
3-2 with 2 down. Joe Johnson just misses with that pitch. That'll send Campos to first.
That was a great curveball, great location, great pitch, but I think even more impressive is that Andrew Campos took that with 2 strikes and a runner in scoring position. Excellent eye.
So Alex Johnson will run for his catcher. First and second with 2 down.
Big situation here now. It's a little different with that pickoff that Connor Dawson got the runner at third base, because bases loaded and 1 out's a lot different than first and second with 2, because now you still have every base. You can hit a double play ball with the bases loaded, but a double play would be tough here on wet new turf. Now you only need 1.
Outside to Ralph Covington. Got the job done in the first inning. Brought a run home with a ground out to third. Big sophomore up 1-0 in this count. Fouled it back.
Let's see, Joe Johnson interested in that runner. Matt Miller at second. Shortstop. Cooper Sumter over there getting back, and you don't want to be out of position when the pitch is delivered. Ralph Covington could have hit a weak ground ball to short. There's a big hole over there during that pitch. So, Leaf, when you look at the stance of Ralph Covington, I know it's a different side of the plate, but does it bring back memories of a young Dave Winfield?
Yeah. Got a piece of it, fouled into the catcher's glove.
I believe Dave Winfield was the guy that was also a multi-sport athlete. Wasn't he drafted in 3 sports?
I believe that's right.
Football and NBA basketball too, right?
I believe that's right.
It's tough to be that good.
Nice pitch from Joe Johnson. Gets the swing and the miss. Throw to first is recorded. And no damage done as the Bears leave 2 on. We're heading to the top of the third here at William Chrisman. 5-3. Van Horn leads. Top of the third we go. Van Horn leading Chrisman here 5-3. Plenty of room to socially distance here at William Chrisman. Beautiful amphitheater seating, really.
Boy, is it that berm. It's a bonus if it were to rain a little more, get some cardboard, now you've got a water slide.
No ideas. Andrew Murphy, the young freshman to be, will step in. Had a nice base hit in the first inning, scored a run. Up high. Andrew Murphy may just be 13 years old, but he has the look of a guy that's played a lot of baseball.
I was going to say, he's 13 years old. My goodness, he's a good-sized kid. 13 maybe in the eyes, looking young, but big kid, controls his body well, athletic frame.
Three 3-0 pitch to the incoming freshman now. Andrew Campos wants to talk to his pitcher.
Okay, so I can't make a mention, and this is all born out of jealousy. With that head of hair, what I wouldn't give. That beautiful mane of hair coming out of that catcher's mask. That went by about 30 years ago.
Pop down foul territory. Miller gives chase, but it's going to fall on the other side of the fence. 3-1.
Another thing about that, a 13-year-old incoming freshman not afraid to swing 3-0.
What do you tell your guys on a 3-0 count?
Depends on who's up. You know, a lot of times a pitcher's going to relax the most because they know they're already behind, and so a lot of times you'll get that pitch right down the middle. And so, I've got one kid on my team that is probably my one or two top hitters, and wants to swing 3-0, but then each time he'll take it because he doesn't want to run himself into an out because then he second guesses himself. And I have other kids that are chomping at the bit to swing 3-0 because they know a fastball's coming most likely.
He grounds it to short. Hudson is there. Long throw to first is in time. Nice play from Kona Hudson.
It's a good job on that play not to panic by Kona Hudson. Andrew Murphy getting down the line, but a couple steps to Hudson's right. It's a good job fielding it. Fires off the back leg, and that's the beauty about turf. Whether you got a cannon arm or just an accurate arm, you can use that turf. And
would you tell your players to use the turf on throws to first?
Shouldn't have to. I mean, seriously, whether you've got a great arm or not, use that turf. I mean, yeah, I would tell them, but use that turf.
Hunter Bass lays down a bunt, and into a beauty. Kills it right on the line. Base hit for Hunter Bass.
That is an excellent bunt, like you said, Leaf. He stayed in there and bunted the ball before he took off, so it didn't have a ton of spin on it. Excellent bunt.
Here's Connor Dawson, sophomore catcher. Popped out to short his first time up. Delayed steal. Second base, and he's going to be safe. Nice piece of base running from Hunter Bass.
Another good job right there. Forcing him to. Good, you do your secondary lead 1-2. Not a ton of speed right there. So if you're going to steal bases but not a ton of speed, that's how you catch him off guard. Campbell's did a great job throwing it right to the base, but if the fielder's not there, nothing you can do.
Fouled into the catcher's mitt. 1-1. Unless that delayed steal, there's a rhythm to it, and it's hard to teach, but boy, when it works, it's just a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Right. You have to teach in the sense of this is what we're going to do, not whether you have confidence, because a lot of times you'll get guys that are fearful to do it, and they'll give it away or they won't do it right. And so you have to trust your coach and trust the process. A lot of times, and I'll tell my guys to lead off, there's a rhythm where it's a left, right, shuffle, shuffle. And then that's knowing you can get back. If you take one more inch, then you need to dive back. So it's the same thing with a delayed steal. You do your shuffle, shuffle, and then you take off running. And if you're out, you're out. It's okay. But they're banking on a little bit of disruption in the defensive rhythm, not your speed.
Taken into center field. Kona Hudson back, makes a nice play to grab it. Dawson's retired for the second time by Kona Hudson. 2 down.
A lot of times, Leaf, on those delayed steals as well, you're looking for specific players in specific situations to do it, because now Chrisman's going to be looking for it the rest of the game, and it's probably not guaranteed, but probably they won't do it again. But right now, you're up 2 runs, and so you want to keep the momentum going.
Jeter Vargas sends this one high. Matthew Miller there to grab it. And the Falcons are retired. Van Horn with a hit, but scoreless In the top of the third, we're going to the bottom of the third here on Spectrum Sports. Van Horn leading Chrisman here 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the third. You see Truman, the second part of our doubleheader on the day. The Patriots arriving, getting ready for their warm-up. Kind of a little bit of a throwback Phillies look there, perhaps.
Yeah, just a little bit with the off day.
I'll tell you a story that with those powder blues look really good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in a previous season, maybe I was like 15 years old, we may or may not have gotten a discount on some red pants. And
maybe you shouldn't have.
And maybe you shouldn't have. And maybe there was a reason they were on sale. But we had those light blue jerseys. And let's just say they look a lot better with white pants than they did with red. Because when you wash those red pants, they turned a shade lighter. And so it looked like by the third or fourth game we had light blue jerseys and pink pants.
I think I might have saw the old minor league entertainer Max Patkin wearing red pants one time, but not a team wearing red pants.
Yeah, that was not. So coaches at home, just beware. Those red pants don't weather real well. This is Joseph Cole, the freshman DH, facing Joe Johnson. All one, really pleasant afternoon. We had a little light mist falling, but it seems like it's stopped now, and good breeze blowing. Great day for baseball. Johnson's pitch is low, 2-0.
Coach Miles Shelton of William Chrisman has his hitters with great approaches. You don't see them diving out front. You don't see them pulling off the ball. They're doing a good job keeping their weight back and taking pitches.
Strike one. 2-1 to Cole, who reached on a walk in the first inning. Nice pitch from Joe Johnson, strike two.
That's also tough as a hitter when you got a guy throwing 80 miles an hour and coming back with the Ephus-like changeup.
Didn't mean to, but got a piece of it. Foul ball.
Leaf, have you noticed that both teams, their hitters, it's like they're putting their toes, at least one, maybe both toes, right on the inside part of that batter's box to smother the plate a little bit. He's right up there, his back foot very, very close to the front of that batter's box.
Holds up on that one, 3-2. No getting rid of those lines in the batter's box on this turf, is there?
Nope, you're either in it or you're out of it.
Up high, Joseph Cole draws a walk for the second time.
It's interesting as you see high school. You know, we've done some over the years. You know, you do college games, you do professional baseball games, and you see as they move up, the guys that move to the next level on the pitching side are the ones that don't consistently go 0-2, 1-2, and then lose them to a walk. They're able to command a little bit better, and they don't lose as many hitters and counts as you'll see at the college level, and then even more so as you go on to the professional level. At this level, a lot of times they have the right ideas. You can see them throwing the right pitches in the right counts, but sometimes they get in rhythms where their location suffers a little bit, or they get ahead but then can't hang on. And over time, that'll come back to bite you because it taps into your pitch count, and you tend to give up more runs that way.
This is Trey Cates. Dropped one into right field in the first inning.
I think that Trey, again, his mom's pretty tall, dad's tall, former professional athlete, basketball player his dad was. I think he might end up being about 7'6".
What's his best sport?
Yes. I mean, he's a basketball player, baseball player. He's been good at everything he's done. But like I said, more importantly, his mom and dad are exceptional teachers, exceptional leaders. You know, it's amazing, too. Being a professional athlete, I've probably signed, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of autographs, and yet you've got folks like Trey's parents who are leaders, and they sacrifice and serve other people. It's where the autographs ought to be sought, right there, and people like that.
Ball up high. Quick throw to the first. Joseph Cole got back. So the count in favor of Trey Cates right now. Pops this one up. Sumter underneath it. Gets the out. One down.
Trey's just getting a little bit underneath. Those hands are dropping just a teeny bit. Pitch he was on, pitch he read. Just getting under it just a teeny bit.
So Frankie Gervie steps in. Caught looking on a strikeout in the first inning. Holds back on that one, 1-0.
I'm often asked, Leafs, what are some of the people in your life that were the best coaches or the best and most influential people? And maybe my top 10 of all the influential people of 50, 60, 70 different people that had some kind of piece that maybe made me a better hitter, a better person, husband, father, all those different things. My top 10 may all be teachers and coaches.
Gervie turns back into that one. That'll send him to first base, and it's 2 on now for the Bears. 1 down for Nathan Campos. So many great coaches and teachers, especially in our area. As you get older, you appreciate the time commitment and what it takes to be not only a teacher, but then a coach on top of that.
And things start to make sense, maybe not until you're 25, right. But eventually things click.
Johnson wheels and fires a second. This is Nathan Campos, sophomore center fielder. Caught looking in the first inning, but he's got 2 aboard here with just 1 down. Onto the backstop, and the runners will advance. So big opportunity here for Chrisman. Swing and a miss. Good pitch from Joe Johnson.
Can't get hurt much down there when it starts middle and bottom drops out of it. You stay down there, you're going to have a good day.
Now it popped up. Johnson calls it. Easy second out. And 2 down. Kona Hudson. He's made some nice plays at short. Try to provide some offense here. Grounded out to third in the second inning. 2 on, 2 down for him here. Grounded to third. Murphy is there. Turns and makes the tag. And that'll do it. 2 left on board for the Bears. And after an offensive explosion in the first inning and a half, the Falcons still lead at 5-3 here on Spectrum Sports. Back here at William Chrisman as Van Horn comes to bat here in the 4th inning. Lee Fleisig, Les Norman with you.
Coming down.
Coach Jay Colster giving us a lineup change here. We're going to see Alex Finley hit here. I think he's hit for Jeter Vargas, if I got that right. This will be Kobe Messick. Drew a walk in the second inning. Came around to score against Nathan Potts. Both pitchers have really done a pretty good job of settling down after a lot of offense in the first inning and a half. Potts looks in to start the 4th. Outside ball 1. That one finds his own, 1-1.
Let's go.
Nathan Potts starting to miss to the other side of the plate now a little bit.
Two and two.
It's all about the adjustments, Leaf.
Good job from Messick to fight that one off. Two-two pitch. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Potts.
It's a good off-speed pitch. It's that borderline Ephus pitch almost, but he's got control of it. Throws a little bit too hard for that, but it's like he turns it over, and that is so hard at that level just to be able to not only stay back, but not swing at a ball up in the zone. That's tough, but it brings up a pretty good leadoff hitter in Cooper Sumter.
Sumter with a single in the first, scored a run. RBI double in the second. Squares the bunt. He offered, strike one.
Do you know there's probably a pretty good amount of offense going when you're up for the third time in the fourth inning?
Sumter's an outstanding goalie as well. Just started playing on a good Van Horn team, went 26-2 as a goalie.
Wow.
Is that you think those shortstop skills translate to goalkeeping? Good hands, quickness, perhaps?
And a little bit of bravery having someone kick a soccer ball at you 80 miles an hour.
1-1 to the junior. Down low, 2-1.
Great approach by Cooper Sumter. Really soft landing foot, keeps his weight back, doesn't get impatient. It's interesting, you talk about smaller guys, and the big knock is, oh, well, he's a good athlete, but he's not very big. Well, tell guys like David Eckstein that, and Dustin Pedroia, and Freddie Patek for the Royals. A lot of little guys out there can really play the game and have success.
3-1. Sumter's on base for the third time.
Now, the good thing about Joey Johnson, not just being a senior, not just being a strong, good hitter, but you get a guy like Cooper Sumter, who's a great athlete, good speed, can wreak havoc on the base pass. Now, as a pitcher, Nathan Potts, you got to focus on the hitter, but you also got a guy that's going to do something active behind you, going to be aggressive and try to take the next base every chance he gets.
Joey Johnson with an RBI double in the second inning. 1 for 2 on the day. Takes that one to center field. In comes Campos. It's going to drop in front of him. The Falcons have runners at first and second.
But he got jammed a little bit on this pitch. A little inside, a little bit up, but he stayed in the middle of the field. And again, he didn't try to do too much, stayed back, kept his hands in, didn't use a lot of his backside, a lot of upper body in that swing, but stayed inside the ball. Good level bat at the point of contact. It's going to find a hole.
Matt Davis now the number 3 hitter. Turns. Fouls off the bunt. RBI single in the first. He scored a run. Flew out to center in the second inning.
Interesting call here. Your number 3 hitter with 1 out in a bunt situation and a 2-run lead. I think he'd swing away, but we'll see what happens here.
Davis looks at that one, 1-1.
He's just luring the infield in. That's what it was, Leaf. He's going to bring him in, and he's going to hit a hard shot at somebody right past him.
Did you ever intentionally foul a bunt off when you were given the bunt signal?
Well, there's a reason I'm laughing to that. I'll admit, when I was younger and maybe in my early high school years, I maybe purposely missed a few bunts because I didn't like it and I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
One of my insubordinate player years. But later on, as my speed developed, I realized the value of using the bunt. The third baseman or first baseman was back.
Sumter got a great jump. That ball goes into left field. But time has been called. What happened here?
I think what ended up happening, there was a block. Yeah, see, Cooper Sumter got an incredible jump off of second base. As Nathan Potts delivered, he started to go home, but then you'll see on a replay maybe here if we got it, there's going to be a slight little delay in his pitch right here. So he takes off. He gets an amazing jump right there. Realize that they say he's going already. So right about there's that little bitty pause right there. He did everything he could to hold back, but he got in his head just that little bit.
Terry Hessenflow making a nice call from the infield there. May have saved a run at this point, but we'll see how it plays out as the runners advance one. But
of course, that last pitch is a dead pitch. There's no call there. There's no single. There's no strike. There's no ball. Just a dead pitch.
Cost Matt Davis a single, maybe. 2-2 now with one down.
Almost had it.
Davis shoots this one into right field. That'll bring the one home. Here comes Johnson. The throw is cut off. 2 more RBIs for Matt Davis.
It's an excellent piece of hitting right here by Matt Davis. Again, this was a ball that was up in the zone, and instead of trying to do too much and yank it, he goes the other way. Big hole to that opposite side. You can also see that Ralph Covington in right field didn't come through the ball. And again, it's hard to get your footing and want to come through a ball because that outfield is so wet and you can slip. So didn't have much of an intention of throwing him out there. Just got it into the cutoff man. So great piece of hitting, and 2 more for Van Horn.
Looks like that's going to be it for Nathan Potts. Pitching change here for William Chrisman. Potts leaves the game here with 1 down in the 4th. This will be Alex Smith. As we talked about, this is a doubleheader day for William Chrisman, so pitching will be at a premium.
Nice curveball right there.
I was going to say, the early scouting report as you're watching him warm up, what do you see?
A tight little spin on it. Not a lot of velocity again, like Potts, but looks like he almost has a cutter. His fastball looks like it spins like a cutter just a little bit to it, which can turn a base hit into a ground ball. And here's his curveball right here. He's got some pretty good spin on this thing. A little bit up there, but see, he gets his arm back really well and very tight. So if he can control that, that could be a nasty out pitch.
3 strikeouts on the afternoon for Nathan Potts. He leaves with the Bears down 7-3 and a runner at first. What'd you tell your team about facing a pitcher who comes in a relief situation, middle of the inning? You're looking for them to take some pitches. You want them to swing away when comfortable. Did you have a standing order among your team?
Well, it's not a standing order. It's always about the situation. But right now you have a relief pitcher coming in, and you don't want them to come in and feel like they can just absolutely plug the leak. You want to be aggressive in the zone, not aggressive with everything, but you want to be aggressive in the zone and keep letting that pitcher know on the offensive side that, hey, we're still going to be swinging the bat. We're still going to put the pressure on you. Because what you want to make sure you don't do is let the other team have a way back in. Again, this is the home team. Chrisman's the home team. It's their field. Got a good offense. They're the home team. And so you want to keep putting the pressure on when you're on the road as much as possible.
Steven Campos steps in, takes ball 2.
It's a good job with 2 takes right there. You don't want to come in swinging at bad pitches and let a team off the hook. Keep your discipline. Tell my kids every inning it's 0-0. Be aggressive, but be aggressive in a smart way where you're in the zone.
Another delayed steal. Throw down to second, not in time. Matt Davis is on second base.
Well, we talked about situations. We may not see it, but just an inning later, or 2 innings later, we see it again, and it's worked twice.
And we'll keep that back foot on the bag. And that turf's just a little bit wet, so I'm going to give you a little extra glide as Campos draws a walk. He's on base for the first time today. 2 on 1 down now for the Falcons.
Sometimes as a relief pitcher in that situation, it's best to, if you're going to walk someone and get those jitters out, you got a base open, you're down 4, they've been hitting the ball, a lot of things have been going, so maybe you go ahead and sacrifice that base to put that force back in order and work on a double play.
Here's Andrew Murphy. Good-looking young player. Single, scored a run in the first. Kona Hudson made a nice play on him in the third at short.
I'm impressed with this young man who hasn't even had a day of high school yet. And here he is, his first varsity game. He's not even in high school, and it's on TV.
Murphy lifts that one just short center field, and it's going to drop. That'll load him up now for Van Horn.
Again, another impressive thing I've seen all day from both sides is keeping their hands inside the ball. You can get so aggressive where the top hand gets too involved. Good job by the outfielders getting the ball in there. Again, you can't tell because the grass is a little bit high out there, but it is very, very wet out there. Some outfielders have been slipping. Rained a lot last night. Missed for a couple innings during this game.
Marcos, he's got a little ear swing in it.
Hunter Bass takes a strike. Nice pitch from Alex Smith. Bass with a pair of hits and RBI in the first inning. Got him on the helmet. That's going to bring home a run.
It's a tough situation where you throw a first pitch strike, you got the corners in, still got a double play situation there, and then end up giving the guy an extra base right there, hit by pitch. But an RBI for Hunter Bass.
So Connor Dawson steps in. Too high, 1-0. Dawson with a pair of pop outs to short. Takes that one down the line in right field. It's going to be trouble. 1 run is in. And they'll hold at third. RBI single for Connor Dawson.
Well, just putting the ball in play right now, taking every little thing that they can get. Hit by pitches, singles, RBIs here. Just put the ball in play. Something's always going to happen.
Juan Palmero will run for the catcher. Nice piece of hitting there from Dawson. So this is Alex Finley, who's inserted into the lineup.
Another freshman coming in for Jay Colster's Van Horn Falcons, getting an opportunity to see what he can do.
Jay said that, when they started practice, they ran it almost like an academy, just trying to develop some guys and with an eye to the future. And it's got some good-looking young players.
Well, it's a tough job as a coach to coach your present and your future all at the same time, and it takes a definite skill.
One and two.
Hold on, 2 strikes.
Into short left center field. Hudson draws back and makes the catch.
Yeah, 1 to go.
2 down now. And the 10th batter of the inning, Kobe Messick.
So, Leaf, I'll ask you before I answer this question.
Okay.
If you made an out your first time up in an inning, would you want to come up a second time in the same inning?
Absolutely. Strike called. I just figure, I'm just speaking personally now, the law of averages, the more at bats you get, the more chance you have to make a hit, right?
Well, if you don't come up, you don't have a chance to hit. So, yeah, you're right about that.
Swing and a miss goes back to the wall, but Campos on it quickly.
Time.
So I'll say this, in high school, I would absolutely agree with you. I want to break that schneid of the inning. But as you get to college and professional, your teammates can be lovingly ruthless.
Yeah, you think they remember that, you mean?
Oh, they remember it.
Yeah.
In professional baseball, whether minor leagues or big leagues, in the clubhouse fun part of it, you'll get fined for doing something like making 2 outs in the same inning, and they'll take the full 24 hours till the next game to not let you live it down. But here in high school, you want to definitely get back up in there and do something.
Well, let's see what Messick can do. Bases loaded here. Swing and a miss. But the Falcons add to their lead. 4 runs in the 4th. The offense continues to shine for Van Horn. They lead 9-3. Go to the bottom of the 4th here on Spectrum Sports. To the bottom of the 4th we go. Van Horn leading Chrisman 9-3. Falcons head coach Jay Colster joins us now from his dugout. Coach, you have to be impressed with your offense, and Joe Johnson's done a nice job of battling back here.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit at the beginning. I think he was kind of trying to feel what he had for the day, and we had to give in to some of their good hitters, and they had that big inning in the first to answer us. But yeah, I mean, our guys are just keeping it really simple at the dish, and we're looking for fastballs going the other way, and there's a lot of pressure plays today too. So we've put Chrisman in a lot of pressure plays where they've had to come up and make a good play, especially with runners on.
Coach Les Norman here. Hey, you're right about Joe Johnson here. One of the things you said the other day as we were talking on the phone is he is one of the guys that's the example of leadership. Part of that leadership, yeah, he had the rough first inning, but really has done a good job mixing his pitch as well. And then my question for you is that did you talk to your team, or do you do that on a regular basis? Because one of the things that we've been mentioning is how good your hitters are staying inside the ball. They're not rolling over. They're taking what the pitchers have given them, and their hard contact is very consistent. So is that a thing you normally do, or is that just something that you said for this game?
You know, we teach our hitters to make their mistakes out front. So the last thing we want to do is get beat by fastballs. And, you know, occasionally if we swing through breaking balls, we can live with that. But, you know, we're just keeping the approach simple at the dish and really focusing on just making our mistakes out front, you know, and letting things happen if we put the ball in play. As far as Joe goes, I mean, he's a rock-solid guy. That's just who he is. He's meticulous, and nothing really gets to him. He's just the same guy every day, every rep. In the last 5 years, I've never seen the guy take a rep off, and he just really values the little things and trusts his stuff.
That was Billy Ross with a single for Chrisman to lead off the fourth inning. Coach, we'll let you go here in just a second, but the base running by your team has really been impressive too. The secondary steals, is that part of just your normal repertoire? Is that obviously you have to work on that? It's such a timing play, but you guys pull it off beautifully.
It's been a staple in our program, and you know, when we see the opportunity, we take it. Whether it's the first inning, 1 out, 2 outs. You know, traditionally you kind of look for that scenario with 2 outs, middle infield playing deep with a runner first, but if it's there with no outs, we'll do it. And let's be honest, we got some lumberjacks on this team that don't run very well. So that, you know, you gotta take advantage of creating higher percentage run opportunities, and that has been a staple. We preach that.
Runner goes. Dawson's throw to second, not on time, and Chrisman's got a runner at second. Coach, if we could, just a couple of quick thoughts on a couple of players. Cooper Sumter has shown us exactly what you told us he was going to be. He's been on base 3 times, big RBI double. What does it mean to have not only a great defensive shortstop, but a guy who can really set the table for you at the top of the lineup? Yeah,
he's a spark plug. He could hit 3-hole if we needed him to. We like him in the leadoff. He's a very intelligent base runner. He's got a little juice in his bat. And he's continuing to get better offensively. Defensively, he's our best defender. And but you know, today he's really shown the bat, and we're proud of him. So yeah, it's been good to see him. He's definitely the spark plug.
And you've got a young player in Andrew Murphy. You said he's an incoming freshman. I mean, he looks like a veteran player out there for you.
Yeah, he's 14 going on 17. So
okay, 14. I thought we had 13. So
he might be 13.
Okay.
I don't know. He's pretty young, but yeah, I actually coached his brother. We had 2 twin brothers, so he's a generational player for us at Van Horn, and we're excited for what's to come of him. He's kind of got a quick glove. Got some things we need to work on, but yeah, we're excited about him defensively and for his future at Van Horn.
Coach, congratulations on your success. 3 15-win seasons there that won the district championship in 2014. You're doing a great job with your program, and thank you for letting us be a part of this day.
Hey, I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Jay Colster in his 8th season at Van Horn. Watching his Falcons work through this one now. They've got runners at first and third now with nobody down. And Andrew Campos at the plate. Runner goes. Campos hammers this into left field. It's fair.
Let's go.
Around third comes Miller. And Campos is going to go in with a double. 2 RBIs.
Good piece of hitting by Andrew Campos. Ball was up a little bit, got the barrel out front, but didn't hook it. If you see the flight of this ball, you can watch. He still stays inside and kind of waves at it. Doesn't try to yank this ball. But normally if you use too much top hand, this ball's going to curve down the line, but it stayed true and just stayed inside. Coach Miles Shelton sending Matt Miller from first base all the way, so 2-run score easily on a 2-run double.
Okay, so Jay Colster's going to go out and talk to Joe Johnson. In fact, that might be it for the Van Horn starter. Did a nice job today.
Did an excellent job. Their senior leader right there, and Joe Johnson. You can tell he's probably not super happy, but with having to come out of the game. But again, hadn't pitched in a while, was a workhorse today. Matt Davis taking his first warm-up pitch out there, slipping on the mound just a little bit. But again, it's that Matt Davis and Joe Johnson combination. These guys played together almost 200 games in their young career. And the epitome of, according to Coach Jay Colster, the epitome of leadership, what leadership is all about in these two players.
So Davis and Johnson will switch positions. He inherits a 9-5 lead, but Chrisman has scored 2 here in the bottom of the 4th to cut into that lead 9-5.
It's one thing you can't count out is Miles Shelton's offense here. They're going to keep roaring back, and they're not going to quit. They're going to keep going and going and going. Former collegiate player, still active in coaching all throughout the summer, not just the school year. Baseball mindset. These Bears are an offensive-loaded team, so 9-5 in the 4th could end up being 15-14 in the 7th if we're not careful. This is already seen 14 runs in 3.5 innings here.
Saw Matt Davis pull off one of those delayed steals. Would he be considered a lumberjack on your team?
Yeah, he may be considered a lumberjack, but one of the things I like Coach Colster talking about was he said that we do that. It's a staple of our program because he's always aware if the middle infielders are really far back and you're not a team that is loaded with speed, then put them in scoring position in the best way you can, and that's always a coach paying attention to what the defense is doing.
There's Ralph Covington. Lifts that one to left field. Didn't like it. Going to be trouble, though. Sumter made a play for it, but just couldn't get there. Got an absolute dead spot out there in left field, and Covington is on base for the first time.
Yeah, that's a long run. Cooper Sumter gave everything he had. He gave good speed, losing his glasses right there, but he's got to watch where the left fielder is, and it's tough to communicate there because when you both have to run a long way, you're not sure. Plus, when you have a junior who's aggressive and then you have an underclassman out there playing left field, you're going to tend to let the upperclassman have way.
This is Joseph Cole. He's walked twice. Big situation here with 2 on and nobody out. That's driven hard to center field. Messick goes back. Throw comes back into the infield. Runners in advance. Long drive for Cole is an out, but it brings the runners up a base.
It's good heads-up base bunting by Ralph Covington, too. Coach Cates over there had him on the tag. Deep fly ball. You're willing to sacrifice. If it drops, you're still going to get to second base anyway, so why not tag up? So it's almost as if it's a sacrifice, and now the young Trey Cates up with a big RBI opportunity.
Trey Cates with a single in the 1st. Popped out to short in the 3rd. 2 on for the freshman here with 1 down.
Tremendous power in Cates here.
He got a swing on that one. Deep to left center field. It's going to be extra bases. It'll bring home 2. And Cates delivers.
I guess that's that coach-player relationship. As soon as I say he's got great power, he comes through for me and backs it up with that 2 RBI double to left center. Might have got to the wall there. Great power. Way to stay inside the ball. Very simple short stroke. Didn't get too long. 2 big RBIs right there.
That brings the Bears to within 9-7. Still just 1 out. That one into the turf will send Cates to 3rd. And Frankie Gervey with 1 out steps in. He struck out in the 1st, was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Worked hard down the 3rd base line, but foul.
No, this is, ironically, this could be, at least right now, one of the biggest at-bats of the game. You say we're only in the 4th inning, it's 9-7, but again, you got a runner on 3rd less than 2 outs. This is all about situational hitting, is what we preach on our teams with my kids. Runner on 3rd less than 2 outs, you see what they do, let the game come to you, take what they give you.
Gervey stands in on that one, 2-1.
So what you need, a sac fly, a ground ball up the middle to the second base or shortstop will work. You're thinking about not thinking about a hit. You're thinking about staying inside the ball and driving the run in.
That one taken into center field. Base hit, RBI for Frankie Gervey. And just as they did in the first inning, the Bears answering here in the bottom of the fourth.
Not going to count down an offensive, explosive team right here.
So this will be Alex Johnson hitting for Nathan Campos. A bye from Matt Davis, 1-0. Two now to Alex Johnson. Make that 3-0. Thank you, Les. There's a strike. Alex Johnson draws a walk. And 2 on now for Kona Hudson.
This is one of those situations you didn't want for Van Horn. You come in, you have a 6-run lead, put up a big crooked number, which can be a backbreaker, but then turn around and give up a bigger crooked number in the bottom of the inning to let them right back in it.
One and 0 to Hudson. Grounded out to third in the second inning. And Matt Davis finds the strike zone, 1-1.
Big out at the plate right here too, because looming on deck is your leadoff hitter, who's already been on 3 times and scored twice.
Two and one. Davis misses outside.
Matt Davis having a little bit of a difficulty on there in his landing foot. It's really tough. I think I heard him say earlier he was having a difficult time striding out because it was slippery on that one as he delivered the pitch. He lost his footing.
Gets a pop-up there. Steven Campos under it. There are 2 down. So it's back to Billy Ross, who got all this started with a single in the top of the fourth. A pair of really good leadoff hitters in this game. You talk about guys that can get on base and get you started. Exactly what you want from both of them.
Sure is. Gamers, good speed, game awareness, good selection, hit the ball hard, stay inside, discipline.
So back to your question, you want to come up twice in the same inning after you've got a single and scored a run, you're waiting to go, right?
Absolutely. There's no better confidence when you're 1 for 1 and you come up in the same inning, especially with guys in scoring position.
A pie from Davis, 2-0.
Davis has good velocity on the mound. He's been throwing the ball pretty hard, popping the glove a little bit. It's just been tough to find it.
That's ball 4. So now bases loaded for Matt Miller. A pair of walks in the first and the second inning.
This This is one of your guys you want up, a senior, a lot of power, very selective. It's something he could drive a gap somewhere pretty quickly.
There's a strike from Matt Davis. 1-1. Out of the way, and Davis gets ahead in this one, 1-2. 2 down, bases loaded. Van Horn trying to hold on to their 1-run lead. That one got him. So bring home a run.
It's a tough at bat right there for pitcher Matt Davis, who had him 1-2. The ball just got away from him just a little bit and put him on, scored a run. Now we've got a new ball game.
And Andrew Campos at the play with a pair of doubles, 4 RBIs. Nice block there from Connor Dawson.
Really like Andrew Campos' approach at the plate. Just very, very simple. Loads with that front shoulder in. It's a good look at it. Doesn't get overly busy with his body, just lets his hands work.
He's heading the count now, 3-0.
Do you green light him here? 4 RBIs, 2 doubles.
My number 3 hitter.
Number 3 hitter. Why not?
Takes ball 4. He'll get an RBI. Jake Colster will go out and talk to his pitcher. He's going to make a change. Looks like Steven Campos coming in to pitch. Looks like Matt Davis is going to go back over to first. And Joe Johnson will go to second.
Andrew Campos been on all 4 times, 5 RBIs on the day. And the way this game's going, there's a pretty good chance he may come up again. 4 2/3 innings, 19 runs so far.
Neither team really at optimal full strength. You know, life goes on, summer goes on.
Right.
Kids have obligations, so there are, you know, both teams adjusting their rosters and looking for pitching where they need it, right?
Right. And I mean, this is expected. I mean, you haven't been doing a lot of practicing. You haven't been doing any playing whatsoever. You're just glad to get out on a nice day to be able to play and have an opportunity to get back on the field during the same season where it was taken away from you. Just have some fun, do what you can do, enjoy the day. But, you know, you say that, but there are competitors on both sides that want to win. They want to do their best. They don't want to fail. It's part of what makes athletes athletes, gamers, has got that passion, their heart, their mindset of wanting to do well and compete.
One more warm-up pitch for Stephen Campos, and he will face Ralph Covington. Seven runs thus far for the hometown Bears here in the fourth.
So as Ralph Covington comes to the plate, I've got another player that just reminded me, again from the right side, but do you remember the Seattle Mariners had a first-round pick about 25, 30 years ago named Mark Newfield? Was all legs, big, strong guy. Reminds me, same stance and everything.
First pitch from Campos is just outside, 1-0.
Should I start mentioning players that maybe our watchers, our viewers, actually might have any idea who they are?
I enjoyed tapping into the memory banks. Just outside from Campos again, 2-0.
People at home might want to hear about a Bryce Harper or a Whit Merrifield. Or
everybody
like
knows
that.
those guys.
Yeah.
That's it. Covington takes that one into left field. It'll score 2. And the big sophomore comes through.
This is a great piece of hitting. The first two pitches by Stephen Campos were low and away, and he throws a 2-0 fastball away. And instead of trying to do too much, Ralph Covington just goes right with the pitch. It's 2 RBI single.
That'll bring up Joseph Cole, freshman DH. Looking for his first hit. He's been on the base twice with walks. Solid strike that time from Campos. Campos got a little velocity too.
Does he can throw a little bit.
Two-one pitch.
Right there.
Runners will move up a base. Strike call gets inside corner, 3-2. Got a piece of him. Off the hands. Cole looks like he's okay. That'll load him up again for the Bears.
Yes.
And the power guy hit the
credit card turned in for Robert Jones here.
2 RBI double off the left center field wall. Trey Cates comes back up. This is last at bat this inning, earlier this inning.
Ball down low.
What are you doing? Stealing my card? Put the game check on there, will you?
Popped him up. Campos will take it
Hey, in and out.
and
Let's
retire
go.
the
Good
side.
inning.
But a big inning for William Chrisman. The Bears score 9 and regain the lead. 12-9 as we head to the top of the 5th here on Spectrum Sports. Well, a big inning for the hometown Bears, who score 9 and take the lead here, 12-9 as we head to the top of the 5th. Lee Fleisig, Les Norman with you. Miles Shelton, the head coach at William Chrisman, joining us now. And, Coach, nice bounce back from your guys. You did it in the first inning, and then you really come back here with 9 in the 4th.
Yeah. That's probably our strong suit is offensively. We can really swing it, man, especially in the middle of the order.
Well, Coach, Les Norman here, and we were talking about that. You teach that, right? You always teach the big inning. They're always. I'm just kidding, of course. I mean, yeah, we know you're a baseball guy year-round, and you understand this game in every facet. It must be pretty comfortable to know you've got some veteran guys like Matt Miller being able to come through. I mean, Andrew Campos been on 4 times and has 5 RBIs already. You're pretty deep offensively. Does that allow you to maybe take some more chances with your pitching earlier in the game, knowing full well that your offense is going to be able to put up big runs?
Oh, for sure. As long as we get guys up there throwing strikes, I know some teams are going to be able to hit off our guys that don't have quite the velo yet. But,
right.
Yeah, our offensive guys, man, they know what to do when they're at the plate. That's why, just like I said, I love that middle of the order right there. And then having Matt and Billy at the top of the lineup that can get on base is really awesome. They've
Nice
been
play
doing
there
that for
from
the last 4 years.
Billy Ross there for you, Coach, to keep Cooper Sumter off base for the first time. Tell us a little bit about Alex Smith and what we can expect from him the rest of the way.
He's a freshman, man. Tough kid. Throws a lot of strikes. I know he threw in our little mini scrimmage game this week and struggled a little bit then, but the kid is a competitor. Can't believe he just hit that batter there. Talked him up and he does that. But, yeah, he's a competitor, man. Likes to compete in the zone despite that pitch right there.
Coach, I know it's an exciting day for you in this beautiful Ross family field. What does it mean for you? At one point, obviously, it looked like you were not even going to see this field this season for a game and be able to play even a doubleheader today. What does that mean for you in the program?
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Oh, wow.
Nice stretch there from Trey Gates.
Oh, yeah. I love the infield. I mean, we had that little drizzled in just now, not too long ago. And the field holds the water better nowadays than they used to. I used to have to get out here plenty of times to try to get this field ready for us to play, but now I don't have to do anything, so I love it.
We just saw the replay there. Trey Cates making a nice stretch. Good to have those long first basemen, Coach.
Oh, for sure. And he's an athletic kid. He's a basketball kid right there.
Coach, one of the things we were talking about Coach Jay Colster over here, and I know you do the same thing. At this level, and especially nowadays, you're not just coaching your teams for the present season. Where wintertime, you're starting to practice indoors. Once February hits, you're thinking about the games and what you have this season. But you're seeing a lot of the kids now in these summer programs that are a lot younger. So you're having to do double duty a lot of times in coaching and managing your season, but also preparing for your future. So how are you able to strike a balance when you're getting these younger kids to have to come into these varsity situations?
So these freshmen and sophomore group, man, they love coming to all season stuff. This past year, I know the freshman class, they was the main ones coming to everything that we had. And they just like I said, they love to compete, man. I know most of these kids on this team play summer ball together, so they all love to compete and come out here and play.
Nice strikeout there from Alex Smith, Coach. Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. We've enjoyed it so far. Coach Miles Shelton joining us as his Bears have a 12-9 lead. We head to the bottom of the 5th here on Spectrum Sports. To the bottom of the 5th we go here at William Chrisman. The Bears have taken a 12-9 lead as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 5th. Lee Fleisig, Les Norman with you. Really interesting, Les, I think, to talk to both coaches, and you hit on kind of the development that is obviously a part of high school sports, but being able to strike the balance between having a successful program and continue to win, and at the same time building your roster for the future too.
Right, it's not like college where you're building your team, but you're out on the recruiting trail. Here, it's just your community. I mean, if the kids come to your high school, they're going to come to your high school. And so you have to develop what you have and make them into better players and advance and build their strengths and grow their weaknesses. But then also you have your off-season workouts where you have your 7th graders, your 8th graders that are playing, and you got to figure out what you have in the future, how to develop them, how to get them into a high school baseball mindset. So it's an ongoing coaching experience, not just a full season even in the winter, but year-round as far as not just 4 years, but 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders.
Frankie Gervey with a nice piece of hitting there. It looked like he was jammed a little bit, but able to lift that into left field for a base hit.
And you'll see that too at
He's
the high
on for the
school
third
level.
time.
Right, and you'll see that at the high school level too. It's a lot of these hits have been because pitches are up in the zone, and that's where you start to develop your core pitching guys too. And it tells you who's going to be able to pitch successfully at the next level. Can they control the level of their pitches?
Stephen Campos taking over for Van Horn. Came in the 4th. This is Alex Johnson. One-0 pitch. Fouled away. Campos just a sophomore. Delivers with a strike. Up high, 2-2. Yeah. Did not come set, so that'll send the runner to second base.
Yeah, not much of any kind of pause. We call that the flow set position.
Swing and a miss. Alex Smith, or excuse me, Campos gets the strikeout. And here's Kona Hudson, the shortstop. A nice game defensively. Looking to get on base for the first time. Number 9 hitter for the Bears. Campos starts him off with a strike.
First time we've seen a pitcher this game keep the ball consistently down in the zone. Campos is finding his zone here.
Is that the most important thing, perhaps, for a young pitcher to control and learn?
Well, the first thing is to be in the zone somewhere, because you can't keep the ball down if you're not even in the zone. So that's going to be the most important thing, because remember, you're dealing with some young guys. They're still, their bodies filling out. Some of them are late bloomers in puberty. Some of them are just all of a sudden getting the explosion of these weird things called muscles and shoulders in their body, and their feet have been growing at this massive rate. I mean, my son's 5'7", just got to 5'7", and he's got a size 11 feet. So just keeps doing it.
Campos again did not come set. Second balk called.
Once you learn how to throw strikes consistent, then that means your release point's established, and now you can start tinkering with the little things to keep you down in the zone.
Campos comes set that time, but misses low.
But even that miss is at least down in the zone, and if you're consistent there and establish that, hitters will eventually chase that.
Down the Right field line, but foul. Hudson still battling at 2-2. One down. Swing and a miss. Campos with the second strikeout.
That's another thing too. When you're down in the zone outside, a lot of times when you start popping something back inside, like right there, that ball was up, but it's tough to handle if it's even close. And like we'd mentioned earlier, these hitters are really getting on top of the plate, so it's tough to get through that inside fastball if it's got any velocity on it.
And here's the leadoff hitter, Billy Ross. Looks at a strike. Ross has been on base 4 times. Doing his job as the leadoff hitter. A pair of hits, one of them a double. Campos misses outside with that one, 1-1.
Pretty good curveball right there too. Just missed away, but down.
Gets the pop up. Handled there at second base. And the side is retired. We're heading to the 6th. Chrisman leads at 12-9 here on Spectrum Sports. Special day here at William Chrisman as they unveil the banner here, the Ross Family Field. Beautiful turf infield. The Bears with their first chance to play a real game on it. And they've enjoyed it. It is a beautiful, beautiful field. As we talked with Coach Miles Shelton, he said, didn't know what to do. You don't have to drag the infield anymore. You got a new set of duties, right?
Yeah, it's almost like you take a garden rake and just, or a brush, and make sure all the little rubber pellets are off home plate. But overall, what a blessing to the Ross family to bring this turf in here. And less time dragging means more time coaching, right?
It is beautiful, and it really came in handy today with a lot of rain overnight. This field was absolutely perfect and ready to play. This is Andrew Murphy. Grounder to short. Kona Hudson up and throws across the diamond. There's one down.
Yeah, this game would not have been played today after last night's rain had this turf not been here, because it, in the past, again, we talked about in the open here, that there was inches of dirt on this field where you would sink everywhere, and even when you drag it, you're just moving dirt around. And what that makes after a rain like last night is mud, where water sits and mud cakes, and it just would have been impossible to play. So turf allows it.
Hunter Bass steps in and takes a strike from Alex Smith. It's just a look at the surrounding area. The outfield is wet but playable. But there was no way we were playing baseball today. And Bass takes that one on the backside. He'll be on first base. Unless you know, I mean, players know there are fields where they know every rock in the infield, and you know that you're going to get some bad hops. There's no excuse on a beautiful infield like this now.
Right, but and this field also can make you learn to be more aggressive. So when you go to those fields where you're playing, you don't want to be defensive on defense. It's a weird saying, but you don't want to be tentative, because you don't want to end up letting the ball play you. And so that's the one good thing about turf, is you're not going to get a good hop. Your footwork tends to be better more consistently. You set your shoulders more consistently. You may not have as much range on hard hit balls, but it also teaches you to have good first steps. So having turf is a bonus, which a lot of high schools maybe don't have, or programs and young kids don't have, but it can teach you a lot if you're willing to have the discipline to work hard to do it.
This is Connor Dawson, the catcher. RBI single back in the 4th. Ground ball to third. Matthew Miller is going to try and turn 2. Exchange doesn't happen at second base, and so there'll be 2 on.
It would look like a pretty decent throw right there, just a little difficult. We'll see what the throw is. Yeah, good throw. You could see there was a slight little flinch right there by the second baseman, because he wanted to hurry up and make that turn, and it just moved his glove an inch just so the ball could tick off the side.
All right, so here's Alex Finley with 2 on, 1 down. Turns his back to that one, and he makes his way to first base.
It just goes to show you, Leaf, that you're never out of it.
Bases loaded now for the Falcons. Number 9 hitter Kobe Messick at the plate. With Sumter on deck, the leadoff hitter, and Joe Johnson to follow.
Big at bat here for Kobe Messick, who struck out twice in the 4th inning. Came up twice in the 4th inning, made the first and the last out striking out. So runner on third, less than 2 outs. Contacts really key here for him.
Pitch from Smith is outside. 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Smith misses outside. Now it's 2-1.
A lot of pressure right here on the pitcher, Alex Smith, to be able to be in the zone. You got a guy who hitting in Kobe Messick has not done well with off-speed pitches well, but if you're not around the plate, as he is right there with ball 3, it's difficult to get a guy to chase.
Big pitch here to the number 9 hitter. 3-1 count. 1 down. Bases loaded. Too high. That'll bring a run home. And here's the leadoff hitter, Cooper Sumter.
You can see Alex Smith a little frustrated on that last call. He thought it was close enough, but a hard thing to help young pitchers understand is that you have to earn the strike zone. If you're consistently, from the high school level up, if you're consistently off the plate and then you throw a borderline pitch, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt a lot of times, and that's part of the maturation process of a young hitter or a young pitcher mentally.
Inside to Sumter, now it's 2-0 to him. Single in the first, double in the second, walked in the 4th. Scored a couple of runs. Drives it to center field. That'll bring 1 home. Sumter's just a good hitter, isn't he? He's just a good hitter.
He really is. That's the one thing Jay Coulter said too, and we got our pregame information on him, is that he just does everything well. He's a leader. He's a junior, and he's a good hitter. He's arguably their best player all the way around. He doesn't try to do too much. He's not super flashy, but he does everything well.
The Bears will have a conference. Coach Miles Shelton out there to talk to his pitcher. Alex Smith's done a pretty nice job for the Bears.
He really has. He's thrown well, good off speed. He's just been a little bit up at times, and you could see before Cooper Sumter came up when he faced Kobe Messick, he's a little bit frustrated on not getting some of those close calls. But again, that's something you learn and you grow as a pitcher as you go through the high school level, that you have to be consistent and get the benefit of the doubt. An umpire won't hesitate if they have an expectation that you're going to be around the zone and it's going to be a close call. That tells them you know what you're doing, but they're not. If it's by accident, you're not going to get that call a lot of times.
Bases loaded for Joe Johnson, who swings at the first pitch. Johnson's had an RBI double, scored a run as well. A couple of hits. Good off speed there from Alex Smith. 0-2.
Miles Shelton might have said the magic things. He come out with against the senior here, Joey Johnson, with 2 solid pitches to go 0-2.
That was lifted to the left center field. Campos comes across to make the catch. Tag is made. Run will score.
It's a good piece of hitting by Joey Johnson, but again, you think, again, we talk about the younger pitchers in Alex Smith, 0-2 pitch up in the zone where he can reach it, and just a big, strong hit in Joey Johnson, just get it into the outfield.
So that'll tie it up at 12 and bring Matt Davis to the plate. A couple of hits, 3 RBIs on the day. Line drive right at Kona Hudson, who makes the grab. But 3 big runs for Van Horn. Falcons have tied it as we head to the bottom of the 6th here on Spectrum Sports. To the bottom of the 6th we go here at William Chrisman. The Bears coming to bat. Tie ball game as Van Horn scored 3 in the top of the 6th. Plenty of excitement here. A lot of offense and some pretty good defense too. Matt Miller will step in. Been on base every time he's been to the plate 4 times. Walked 3 times, hit by a pitch. Takes the ball from Steven Campos.
Another thing too, Matt, playing for me those couple years in the summers, he's always had a good eye. Was not a big strikeout guy, very patient.
Fouls that one off. You can work with guys to get on base, can't you?
Well, you sure can, but it challenges you as a coach too. You know, you want to put them in the best possible position. It's not just get out there and steal a base. It's watching the defense. It's knowing your hitter. It's knowing the tendencies of the pitcher, and does he vary his hold counts. It's always that scouting report on what they have. And so as a coach, you know, Jake Holster and Miles Shelton have a very difficult time, and then coming in the next game, Corey Latham for Truman. Really got to understand this game very well to put these kids in the best possible position to succeed.
Matt Miller draws a walk, his 4th of the day.
So I told Matt before the game, I need to see something from you now. And 5 appearances, and yet he hasn't been to the plate yet statistically because he's 4 walks and a hit by pitch.
There's the number 3 hitter, Andrew Campos. You want to go through his day? A couple of RBI doubles. I've got him for 5 RBIs. Been on base twice with walks. Nice read from Matt Miller, who will take second base.
Again, that's great instinct right there too. As soon as the ball goes in the dirt, you just take off running. You don't see where the ball's going to go, and it's going to have a little more spongy bounce off this turf as well. So excellent job just taking advantage. He would have been safe no matter what, but still it's that instinct to go right away and put the pressure on the defense.
Campos swings and fouls it back, 1-1.
So here's the difference between me coaching third on my 15-year-old team and Miles Shelton here for Chrisman. Somebody hits a hard ground ball toward me, I'm getting out of the way, and Miles Shelton charged his own dugout to try to go after that. So tells you maybe he might be a little bit tougher than me, a little more baseball-minded right now. And we'll just say younger. How's that? Just younger.
These fat balls will get you. You got to be careful. There comes a time, and it'll happen to you at some point, where you're warming up a pitcher and you think, "This is the last pitcher I'm warming up. This is Dad doesn't see the ball as well as he used to."
Yeah, I had that thought yesterday in Wichita.
Swing and a miss. Campos retired for the first time today.
You'd see him get a little bit, we talked about his approach, got a little bit jumpy at that pitch. You can hear him after that. He's like, oh, I chased it. He knows he chased it too. Very simple approach, but got a little bit impatient right there.
There's Ralph Covington, a couple of singles, 2 RBIs on his last hit in the 4th. Nice pitch from Campos.
Campos even making the strike call for himself after he threw that one. You see that a little bit. He's pumping his own strikes in there now. I like it. Got that mental tough mindset.
Going into the turf. Miller will go to third.
Do we talk about at bats throughout the game? Is this the important at bat of the game? Is this the important bat? Matt Miller now taking advantage of that. Another wild pitch. And now with the top of the 7th coming up and a tie score, Ralph Covington's at bat with a situational infield drawn in now. This could be a big at bat.
Good job from Dawson. Keep that ball in front of him, and the runner at third. 2-1 now.
See, even though the infield's drawn in, you can see second baseman Joey Johnson playing a little bit toward the second base side. So there's a big hole over on the right side. And with a drawn-in infield on turf, on new turf, that puts the, if you just make contact, that puts the advantage even more so in the hitter's hands.
Campos misses up high, 3-1.
Do you have a, sure, Jay Colster has Joey Johnson second base moving a little bit more toward the bag because Ralph Covington hasn't pulled the ball yet. He's gone the other way a few different times with that inside out swing and now an intentional walk. There was an intentional, or was that ball 4?
All right, it'll bring Joseph Cole to the plate now. He's been on base 3 times. Big situation here for the freshman DH. Runner goes. Throw goes to third. So now second
Got 2
and
there.
third.
Let's go. Be ready to hit.
With 1 down for Joseph Cole. Trey Cates on deck. Too low, 2-0.
Now remember, the drawn-in infield only works if you're throwing strikes and giving him something to hit, because if you're walking guys, it makes it a little bit tougher. Been doing a good job to this point, though, keeping the ball down and putting it in the zone.
Ground ball to short, just past Sumter. It'll bring home a run. Joseph Cole gets the job done.
See, that's where your turf comes into play right there, too, because if this is natural grass, Cooper Sumter probably comes up with that with a backhand, and there's a potential, maybe, might still score, but there's a potential maybe for him to get him at the plate. But he rolls over an outside pitch, off-speed pitch a little bit, but still the turf gets it through there. Covington does a good job going to third, so it'll go as a single and an RBI with that drawn-in infield.
Antonio Graham comes in to run for Joseph Cole. And here's Trey Cates. 2 RBI double in the 4th. Singled in the 1st. Campos starts him off with a strike. Runner goes, throw goes down to second base. In time? Yes. Run comes in to score.
It's one of those
Van Horn
situations
gets the
where,
out.
yeah, sorry, Leaf, you'll trade the out for the run right there when you're the home team and you go up 2 for sure.
That one just misses. 3-1.
Low ball hitter, Cates. She's a strike here down in the zone, has the potential to do some damage.
Pops that one back. Dawson gives it a look. It's out of play.
Ball, 2 strikes. Time. Take your time.
Gates wants to double check the count. 3-2. Hits that one hard, but right at Cooper Sumter. And the inning is over. But the Bears score 2 runs to take the lead. 14-12 as we head to the top of the 7th here on Spectrum Sports. It's turned into a great afternoon for baseball here at William Chrisman, and the hometown Bears giving their fans plenty to cheer about. 14-12, Chrisman leads it. And they're going to send Billy Ross to the mound, try and close this one out.
Well, who'd have thought that first game back, before you get to the 7th, 21 hits, 26 runs. Now, one of the things that we failed to mention, because of the great amount of action that we've had, Van Horn kind of has a pretty famous Major League Baseball alumnus, don't they?
I think they do.
Nicknamed the Red Baron.
Rick Sutcliffe.
Yeah. I grew up in Chicago area watching the Red Baron do his thing.
Yeah.
Hitting some home runs, not just being a stud pitcher and had a Cy Young, but
Jake Holster told us that those old-time Van Horn guys really have done a good job supporting the program and love to see the baseball tradition at Van Horn, and they're really still a part of the program.
yeah, that's fantastic.
And Stephen Campos leads things off against Billy Ross. 4, 5, and 6 hitters now for the Falcons. Campos reached on a walk in the 4th. Struck out twice. Pops this one down the right field line. Tough play. I'll tell you what, Trey Cates made it look pretty easy.
Boy, he sure did. You got turned one way. You got the sun going. You got the wind going back now, kind of blowing across where before it was blowing out and then in and then back out. That was a tough play. So he did a good job of staying with that and getting his head turned. And that's the key. Your body's going to get turned. But if you can get your head turned and get your eyes on it as long as possible, you're going to make that play more times than not.
Here's Andrew Murphy for Van Horn. 2 singles for the young freshman to be.
Really impressed with this young man and how he's held himself today. 2 for 4. Hasn't even taken a class as a high schooler yet.
Gates is going to give this one a chase too. Against the fence, and another nice play. Trey Cates flashing some leather here in the 7th.
Okay, well, if there's one thing Van Horn should have learned this inning is stop hitting it to the first baseman. He's got a pretty good glove over there. Trey Cates doing another great job. The first one was getting turned and hanging with the wind and the sun. That one was navigating the fence, the ball coming right down over there, and it wasn't really a very high pop-up. So he didn't have a lot of time to make a decision. So great glove work and awareness by Trey Cates, just finishing his freshman year.
All right, it'll be up to Hunter Bass now to get something going for Van Horn here in the top of the 7th. 2-0 pitch. Up high, 3-0.
One thing a coach will teach their kids, I talked to my kids about it as freshmen, now sophomores, and even as they were little, one of the things you want to try to stay away from is the 2-out walk.
Good job by Hunter Bass to get on base, and that'll bring the tying run to the plate in Connor Dawson. Dawson with an RBI single in the 4th. Scored a run in the 6th. Just outside from Ross, 1-0.
Billy Ross showing some good velocity, good hiss and a pop as it comes in there.
Now we're going to see inside corner, 1-1. Good pitch there, 1-2. One-two pitch to Connor Dawson. Down low, 2-2.
Good job not offering it that down, knowing that down to your last strike and not chasing that ball in the dirt.
Ground ball to third. Miller is there. Long throw. Nice dig from Trey Cates. Cates a part of all 3 outs with some nice defensive plays. And that'll end at 14-12. William Chrisman. We'll wrap things up from William Chrisman, Ross Family Field. We continue here on Spectrum Sports. Stay with us. Well, it was a return to baseball here at William Chrisman, and the hometown Bears win at 14-12 over Van Horn. Les, we saw a lot of offensive excitement and, boy, some great defense there in that final inning, too.
Well, we did. I'm glad Trey Cates showed up with his glove today. Made 2 good plays on getting turned around, one at the fence and then to scoop it to end the game right there. But you know what? That's why they pay those first basemen the big money and the big gloves, right?
I think both teams will have a lot to take away from this as they had a chance to play, get back into action. Van Horn, we saw obviously some fantastic offense, great pitching from both sides, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see them get back on the field. This beautiful Ross Family Stadium now on the turf. Offensive explosion, some pretty good defense. It's just great to see these seniors get a good send-off.
26 runs, 21 hits. If you like offense, we had it for you. Game 2 between Chrisman and Truman. Coming up next, a big thank you to our Spectrum Sports crew. Good to see everybody again. We'll see you for Game 2 coming up here on Spectrum Sports.